Universal love and light and chaos to all the people of the world. This is just not for Americans. This is for everybody. Now, we understand and know the fact of the matter that there's a lot of people that's so-called migrants or immigrants or whatever over in these so-called Americas. But the reality of it is that the world and all these lands belong to every living organism on this planet. The point of it is people have been separated and subjugated to the point where they're claiming things that's not really their own because it is indigenous and it belongs to all of us. Now, the reality of it is I'm aware, as well as most of you are aware, because of all the information that's being put out, that yes, the indigenous copper gods, people that look like me, yes, we're the original people of this land. We already know that genocide has been committed on our ancestors and so forth and so on. But irrelevant to that, there's other ethnicities and races of people that genocide has been committed upon too. Now, there's only two really opposing forces that we need to worry about right here, and that's the government, that's the motherfucking military, and that's the so-called policies and forces. But the real motherfuckers that's running the show is the motherfuckers behind the scene that you don't see, that they don't show their face, you don't even know who they are. And they're called the deletes. But the deletes are actually not really running anything because you have a alien fucking civilization called Draconians, Reptilians, Greys, Palladians, Insectoids, and so forth and so on that are actually running everything behind the scenes. Now, that being said, the whole agenda, like I said previously, is about depopulation. What's the best way and easiest way to depopulate the world? To have everybody in despair, to have everybody hating and feeling some type of way about another ethnicity of people because they feel that they're the problem, not the solution. But in reality, we're not the problem. The problem is the people that's behind the curtain that's actually pulling the strings. We're literally like puppets, and you don't even know that you're being controlled by these so-called powers that be. I mean, if you really look at the fact of the matter is that everything that they put out, even the subliminal programming of the TV, the news media, the fucking foods, the water, the air, everything is being poisoned. And we're all being contaminated with all this fucking impurities in order to change your mental stability and have you thinking in a, I guess you say, a negative type of way to make other people feel as if they're the problem. No. The only way that we as a people are going to overcome what we're all being subjugated to is to come together. And like I said before, my enemy is my fucking friend. And we're not actually enemies because we've all been lied to. We've all been tricked. We've all been played. The game is cold, man. And it is what it is. Now, what I need for everyone to do is to put aside all these petty differences, and come together. Now, we know that we're having solar flares and we're having all these other things going on, but everybody has shown and seen that they're constantly contaminating the fucking air with all this barium and this lithium and so forth and so on. And even one video I seen where a guy, he wiped off the mist and the dust off his vehicle and it was magnetized. What do you think that's in that? What do you think is in there? It's the same shit that they're trying to do. Just like the videos about them putting out that they have already announced that they're putting the fucking COVID, the vaccine, in the actual fruits, in the actual food. They even putting it in the tobacco products. And I'm pretty sure they've already put it in the marijuana because a lot of us are smoking marijuana just to try to maintain some kind of sanity. The reality of it is that this is one big motherfucking conspiracy and they all conspiring against us as a people, as a race of people, as an ethnicity, as a group of people. And when I say that, I'm saying it to say this, is that we're not all separate because we all return to source, because we all have the spark of life, which comes from source. And that is the problem. Yes, some other people do supersede other individuals based on what they possess internally, but that does not negate the fact that we are all one because we come from the source of life. You cannot have the spark of life or the breath of life in you and not come from source, the universal cosmic creators of all life. And that's not excluding the animals, the trees, the land, everything else, because all the elements all work together for this. Now, what you guys are failing to realize is that God is the best of planner. So the things that they're doing to contaminate and create all these catastrophes and these tornadoes and hurricanes and the flooding and so forth and so on, God is using those things in order to rid itself of the inorganics and the people that are not on the same page. Because if you're not operating out of love, and that's love of self and love of your fellow man. Now, that being said, I don't have no issue with white people. I don't have no issue with Asian people. I don't have no issue with Arab people. I don't have no issue with Mexican people. None of that. Because we're all being fucking contaminated. We're all being drugged. We all have been tricked to believe that we are not one when it all comes down to it. Now, this being said is that it is incumbent upon everyone to put aside all that bullshit and focus on who the real motherfucking, I guess you say, the real deceiver, the real devil, the real Satan. Because, see, a lot of people fall in these religions and all these other beliefs and these doctrines and so forth and so on, which were created by man in order to keep you subjugated and to keep you from going within. Now, everything you need to know is already within you, but you have to clean up your temple. You have to clean up your mind. You have to step away from the entertainment. You got to step away from the TV. You got to step away from these so-called these sports events and all this other bullshit. Stop going out to eating these foods and this and that, because who's making this food? Most of the people that's working with these so-called satanic, demonic, ritual peoples are contaminating the food, contaminating the water, and contaminating everything. And that's by any means necessary. And that agenda is to depopulate the world. And the only way they're going to do that is to have us all fighting against each other, creating chaos, so they can implement martial law. Once a martial law is implemented, you so-called police officers, you will not have any power that you think you have, which you really don't have, because the army is going to supersede over that. And then they're going to come in with the United Nations, who has their own army, which is going to supersede you all. So all of y'all following these orders, following these rules and these agendas blindly, thinking that you're making a difference, thinking that you're doing the right thing. We already know from America's history that they've went into many countries and many places under the auspice of democracy, and they've murdered and killed and committed genocide on multiple ethnicities and races of people, as they're doing today. The agenda is right in your face. Everybody's talking about all these other things that don't mean nothing. All you really need to do is come together, put aside all these differences, please, my people. And I say my brothers and sisters, my children, and everybody else, because when it's all said and done, we're going to need each other. We all we got. If we don't come together, the fight, the oppression, the fight, the tyranny, the fight for what's right, your God-given right. I mean, we're paying for water, we're paying for food, we're paying to breathe, we're paying for land, we're paying for the right to travel, we're paying for all this. And now they got these so-called policies for, they busting your window if you don't want to show them your ID, if you don't want to let it down. They tackling you if you don't want to show them your ID. They doing all kind of things. They putting our children in handcuffs. They're abusing everybody. They're abusing their rights. And they understand that they just part of an agenda, and that agenda is going to turn around and bite them in the ass, because they don't understand. You're just a puppet being used, just like a pawn in a fucking chess game. Pawns are expendable. And that's what they're looking at you as. You think you're doing the right thing, but actually you're just perpetuating this whole called agenda and this lie. And this lie is to keep us all separated, keep us from coming together. If you look at some of these other countries out here, these people are coming together. They're putting aside all their differences, because right is right. It's just that simple. I'm hoping that everybody gets this message and wakes up and understand that we're all the same. We're all connected to a certain degree. Yes, there's levels to this shit, but that doesn't negate the fact that in order for us to overcome this tyranny, we must come together. We must come together. We must come together as one whole. You can say if it's just America, you can say it's just Africa, you can say it's Australia, you can say it's Egypt, you can say whatever country you want to say, a continent. But the point of it is that there's only so many motherfucking people in this so-called elite family that's running everything and trying to perpetuate this here in order to kill us all. And that's called depopulation. So